Hello, and welcome to the first episode of The Mana Zone. This is a podcast that I've came up with this with my friend Nolan.
Hey.
Yeah, it was originally planned to be a podcast with other people from the MTG Tumblr community, having different guests on every week, but we wanted to just get an episode recorded to see if people actually like it or anything. So after the big bit of news that was announced today on April 18th, we thought it'd be good to do that as the first episode.
Yep.
So, yeah, let's get in. If we want to introduce ourselves first, I am Oscar. I run MTGelks on Tumblr, and this is...
I am Nolan. I currently run the Captain Broccoli blog on Tumblr. Not that I really matter. I mostly just reblog things. I'm not really particularly active in the Magic community, but I'd like to be more active. So here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the big thing of the news, like, we're at the end of the Amonkhet spoiler season and everything, and I definitely want to do an episode just talking about Amonkhet as a whole, but this is big news and everything, so, especially for Commander players and everything. So the first big thing was, they announced we got the first announcement for things about the fall set for 2017 being Codename Ham, and now it's Ixalan, I think. That's probably how you announce it.
Yeah.
I think
The
that's it.
former Altazan set, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
back in, I think it was November or early December, we got, people were saying it was a leak, but it's more, because it was official and everything, it was a survey testing pack art designs with customers, and they gave images as proof of concepts, that one was of the Amonkhet pack arts, which we currently know did end up going to print, because we know what they are, and presumably seeing that the Amonkhet ones are the real ones, the Hour of Devastation ones are also the real ones. There was another set of 8 pack arts for a set called Altazan, which was interesting to see that presumably the new plane for the fall set was a Mesoamerican, Mayan, Aztec-based plane, which was really interesting. And I really, people should definitely take that with a grain of salt, especially with how much pushback Wizards did on it. And it makes sense now, since I was actually saying this from the start, was it could be a similar situation to Khans of Tarkir, where originally the Wizards trademarked that to be Warlords of Draenor, which is similar naming to, I think, a World of Warcraft expansion that was coming out at the time, which is why they inevitably changed it. But it goes to show that names can change a lot before they go to print and everything.
Yeah.
So it was very suspect for me that they were going to change the name with how much Wizards was pushing back, when this was a full this was full official commissioned art and everything, so it had to be in some way accurate, because it's very doubtful that Wizards would make a full plane and commission multiple art pieces for a survey, so it was going to be coming at some point in the future. So it was just kind of about when. But we get official confirmation that the new set will be that plane, which is now renamed to Ixalan, which is interesting. I like its new name, since it doesn't exactly follow... It still gives the Mesoamerican feeling of the name, but it doesn't give the... what Altazan did was made you think of Atlantis a bit, and it got confused with that a bit. So I think this is a little more unambiguous.
Yeah. I mean, I am wondering, actually, with this announcement, if they'll keep the name for the second set, Conquest of Power. Kind of hope they do. It sounded sort of awesome.
Yeah, I also hope it does, because it also feels to continue with just Hour of Devastation, Conquest of Power, these really powerful feeling second sets of the block. So
yeah, which is, I mean, after a name as awe-struckingly boring as Aether Revolt, no offense, Kaladesh, it wasn't a great name. I think, especially if given what we can infer from the pack art we got for the original leaks of Atlazan and of Conquest, it's probably going to be like an interesting, powerful set. Probably going to finish up the stuff involving Veraska, which we got vague glimpses of back on Kaladesh when she just vanished off the face of Ravnica. By the looks of it, the return of Merfolk. For those of you who like Merfolk, I'm not a huge Merfolk fan, but I mean, maybe they'll give us an interesting commander who can successfully combine all of the various colors of Merfolk into one singular Merfolk. My money's on either Temur colored, or if they're actually willing to do such a crazy thing in the main set, maybe a 4-colored one. I don't know. Do we have black or white Merfolk?
We have white Merfolk because there was the Lorwyn Merfolk.
Oh yeah, and they went black too. So maybe a 5-color Merfolk.
I didn't
commander.
think the Lorwyn ones ever went black.
Cause in Shadowmoor.
They did?
Yeah.
Because I remember there's like 1 or 2 actually white color identity Merfolk, but they had the tribal land in Morningtide. Was it Morningtide?
Because they returned as the Dimir hybrid tribe along with fairies.
Yeah. Which was interesting, and I liked that Merfolk weren't mono blue, which was good.
Yeah. I mean,
looking at the Merfolk art from that Altazan pack art, it looks really not like past Merfolk, which is interesting.
Yeah. I think the easiest thing it could be compared to is some Ravnican Merfolk, but mostly Zendikar, which tended to be maybe
Theros Merfolk.
Oh yeah,
the Theros Merfolk were really not consistent, considering they sort of had elemental-based powers, where they kind of shaped their own bodies a bit. So yeah, with like Master of Waves and everything.
Yeah, but and then you've got like the World Wakers from Zendikar, who are mostly Merfolk. I guess my main thing when I look at these arts, I think back to like how the Zendikari Merfolk wear a lot of shells and wear a lot of scaly clothing, stuff like that. And this guy definitely seems to have that sort of feel with his head thing going on. Actually, almost reminds me of some of the blue-aligned Eldrazi we got.
Yeah, it did.
I had to say anything.
Yeah.
I look at this and my mind immediately goes to things like Drowner of Hope and Cryptic
Yeah.
Cursor. Um, not
Yeah.
so much things like Eldrazi Spawner, but
Yeah.
a little bit of Salvage Drone in there, or even some of the black ones like Silent Skimmer. I wouldn't mind seeing, um, like I honestly, every time I think tribal deck, it's like why don't we get a commander who can unite all of the colors used in this tribe?
Yeah, that's
Um,
good. That's something a few different tribes actually need, which is a
yeah,
good segue into the other thing we were going to talk about,
yeah. The
which
the thing we
is
actually want to talk about.
yeah, which is
Yeah,
Commander 2017 was announced, I guess, today. We all knew it was going to happen, but
it
we
was
got a little
announced.
more information.
Yeah,
So along with the Ixalan announcement, we got an announcement about Commander 2017, which is saying a few interesting things. One, it's coming out on August 25th, in not like early November, end of October, which is really interesting. It's actually the day before my birthday, which is cool.
Oh,
And
hmm.
I'm glad because I don't know, especially if Wizards doesn't fill the summer with a lot of stuff like they did last time. If
Yeah.
this just gets added to other things in the summer, this is worrisome. But
I mean, they probably would have announced more by now if they were going to have like a big summer lineup like they did
yeah,
last
I
time.
can't remember when they announced the From the Vault and Conspiracy Take the Crown.
I remember the announcement for Conspiracy because I was like genuinely excited for it, but lore came right out of nowhere.
Yeah, I had no
I
clue
don't
it was
even
coming out.
remember when they announced that.
Yeah.
Um, I want to say it was. Oh boy, when was it? Was it announced? Was it announced around the same time as SOI, or was it not announced till until they announced Eldritch Moon's stuff with like the whole pack art and the spoiling of who the Eldritch Moon is, what the Eldritch Moon is.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
just checking. Uh,
okay.
it was February 26th, so it was actually really early in the year.
Yeah,
So yeah, I agree. Like it, it would if there was something big happening this summer, it would have had to be announced. Like a From the Vault can still come out of nowhere, and there
yeah,
has to be a From the Vault in the year. Although seeing Commander being bumped early, I think this kind of leads From the Vault will take its spot where they kind of flop the two.
yeah. I wouldn't
'Cause
actually, honestly, if there's a place you're going to drop from the vault, if if you ask me anyway, you drop it during like Christmas
yeah,
because at least from a business standpoint, who's really going to be going for those? Either avid collectors or people who are like, I am the rich something or other of this Magic player, and they like Magic, and this is kind of expensive. It must have lots of value. I'll buy them the thing, and then they buy the thing, and
yep.
it's not a shitty gift.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
that was the purpose the Plane Chase anthology filled last year,
Yeah,
and there won't be an anthology at that point because we're getting
yeah.
Commander anthology just in a few months now.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
that is coming out soon, isn't it?
so that would be usually they want a big ticket item at the Christmas season, so it makes sense to put From the Vault there, especially because like it's the reward to stores for being WPN
Yeah,
licensed and everything. So
and they can.
you really want Wizards really wants it to sell to
Yeah,
be a good reward kind of thing.
and I mean like, when we bought our our From the Vault lore last year, that was kind of a depressing sight because it was just kind of sitting there in the convention hall.
Yeah.
Clearly, no one had looked at these things. Most of them were still in their white cases. There was only like one. Actually, was there a display copy out?
No,
Or
we had to
no,
take
there
one out of
wasn't.
the case.
Yeah, right. And then It was sitting next to a box of from
Eternal
the vault
Masters.
of Eternal Masters that no one had bought.
and a lot. Yeah, and a box of Annihilation.
And it's just like, oh, buddy, why are you here with all the
Yeah.
crappy products?
Yeah.
You were interesting. You had Momir Vig and other
Dark
cards.
Depths and
Momir Vig.
and GT.
And Momir Vig. And some band cards. And Momir Vig.
And a lot of band cards.
And more Momir Vig.
Yeah.
I really like that Momir Vig art. But yeah, so Commander 2017, I'm sure since we got to this, we're getting to this like a day late by the time this goes up at least.
Yeah.
I'm sure people have had theories abound, but hopefully no one else has come to the same theoretical conclusions that we have. Where, in theory, the way I'm looking at this, and you agree, is that the way they're probably going to set it up is we're going to get a deck that's a 2-color deck, a deck that's a 3-color deck, deck that's a 4-color deck, and then a deck that's a 5-color deck. Probably each with different focus colors for the most part. I have a feeling that one way or another Red's probably going to get shafted because we're probably not going to see like what are the predominant tribes in Red right now? It's goblins,
Elementals, dragons,
maybe elementals. Depends.
I mean, of any color, red is the most is the color for most elementals, and it's the only color any tribal support for elementals has been in, which was the Lauren elementals.
That's fair. Although we saw a fair number of elementals over Nolan that weren't exclusive.
Master of Waves.
Yeah,
but
or things like what are some other elementals? We got like the elemental incarnations over there, which were 5-color cycles, like Vigor.
Yeah.
If they do an elemental commander set, I wouldn't mind seeing a reprint of all of the incarnations, but particularly things like Guile, Vigor.
I think both of those actually got reprinted in the commander sets recent. No, Guile was in Modern Masters 2015.
Yeah, Guile was in 2015, and I believe Guile was also in, I want to say, Commander 2015? Because I'm pretty sure it was in the Azuri deck. And then Vigor hasn't gotten a reprint, probably just because, generally speaking, it's a very powerful card. Probably the best out of all of the incarnations that we got. So, reprinting
it was just Modern Masters 2015.
Yeah.
Here, let me check Vigor.
Yeah, no, I know Vigor hasn't been reprinted at all because of how just crazy powerful it is. But yeah, what sort of tribes would you like to see supported?
I mean, I'm a sucker for Fallen Empires. I would love Homerids or Thalids, but like actually being reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what I want to be supported specifically. I just kind of know exactly want it to be the here are the big tribes of Magic's history. Here's give more support to those. Like, if you're doing a commander set specifically for like tribal and everything, then I'd love to see weird, interesting, maybe not like super out there, but like not elves, goblins, humans, dragons, angels, stuff like that. Like a little lesser known.
Yeah. Like I'd like I brought up with Merfolk earlier, I'd love to see us get commanders who encompass properly all of the different colors that a particular subclass of, like, a particular creature type has. Like maybe a 4 or 5 color zombie commander that encompasses all of the various zombies and supports the archetypes properly. Because I mean, like we've gotten zombie support commanders before, and we've gotten various too many zombie lords actually. I think zombies have the most lords out of any.
Um,
I want to say
maybe
they.
actually,
They probably do. I wouldn't be surprised.
because
Because like we get a new zombie lord every time a new zombie gets printed. Like we got one in Amonkhet recently, didn't we? With Lord of the Dunes or whatever. Because he's another one where it's like I'll give them all +1/+1 in something. What was that called?
Because, like, for actual zombie lords, we've got, like, 10, about 15 that actually are specifically for zombies. That are legendary creatures, like, for actual zombie commanders. And I'm counting, like, Liliana and, like, things that are so definitely used for zombies specifically.
Yeah. And then you've got stuff like we got a zombie anthem in Amonkhet, which is called that one is it has Liliana on it. It's called Liliana's Mastery.
That one, yes.
It creates zombie tokens. It gives them buffs. It makes your 2/2 zombie tokens 3/3s. It's nice. Then you've got the zombie lord, who's called.
There's actually 2 or 3. There's 2 or 3 creatures that do things with whenever a zombie does X.
Yeah, and Amonkhet clearly has like a zombie focus. Lord of the Accursed is what it's called. It's not even trying to hide it. And it can give all your zombies menace for 1 and a black, and then you tap it. It's a 2/3. It's great. It's going to be an uncommon.
And we get the other interesting thing, which I actually really like, being one, a pseudo sort of zombie lord with Binding Mummy. For 1 and a white, whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, you may tap target artifact or creature. So,
and then you have things like the definitive Ortsov Mummy being Wayward Servant, the 2/2 that every time another zombie enters the battlefield, you drain. It's great. That's probably going to be its own like janky deck in Standard. I can see a lot of people trying to build that. Zombie Tribal in general is going to be a thing on here. It's probably I wouldn't be surprised if we saw people at being crazy enough to try and put it into 4-color, honestly. Just desperately trying with the various dual lands we have, and then what's it called? Chromatic Prism, and things like the card that got reprinted in Eldritch Moon that everybody loved, or at least printed in Eldritch Moon, that bounces back to your hand. You crack it for a mana, and it also draws you a card that you can play turn 1.
Yeah, that one.
The artifact. Yeah. I could definitely see people being crazy enough to try and build a 4-color deck out of this, with like an Obs on Zombie shell, or even 5-color if they really want to. Want to go far enough. I don't know if there's enough red zombies right now.
I mean, if we were getting any, they would be from Amonkhet, and I'm not actually even seeing any.
Yeah, so you could probably do it 4-color alone. Terrarian, that's what it's called.
Yes, that it is.
To sacrifice, add 2 mana of any combination of colors, and when it's put into your graveyard, you draw a card. It's value. It just replaces itself.
I personally am from the school of deck brewing for like Standard being don't stretch the possible mana bases to play more colors. And but like for something like this is when it is worth it to stretch for like zombies. But I don't know. I don't think blue gets you enough. I think Obs on Zombies would be a real good deck, but I don't think blue gives you much of anything. Like,
yeah, like it gets you some Eldritch Moon, Shadows over Innistrad, Zombies. It's not like we're living in the days of old Innistrad where you have like 50 blue zombie lords and Dimir zombie lords. I guess it would net you some of the embalmed creatures. Like if you're willing to go for like a heavy token strategy with your zombie deck, it'll get you things like what's it called? The other Azorius embalmed creature that we got that isn't a legendary creature, being the Bird Warrior Aven Wind Guide.
Oh yeah,
who gives all of your tokens flying in vigilance, and then also has flying in vigilance 2/3 for 2, a white and a blue, which could be interesting.
We also have Anointed Procession for doubling tokens, which is a real good card. So
that there's your reason to have green. Doubles all your embalmed creatures basically, except for your one legendary embalmed creature.
I mean, I don't actually. I think the reason for green is a little bit. I don't know. I think the reason for green is specifically, which was that card from Kaladesh? 1 green, search for a land and put in your hand.
Oh yeah, that one was good.
Just because you're trying to go to a 3-color combo that's not a shard combination, so you don't get the support of having 2 shadow lands and 2 of the cycling lands.
Yeah.
So I think that's stretching, but when you're stretching for a tribal thing, it works, I guess. But
which I mean, it makes up for itself because you have things like Painted Bluffs, which is a common.
Yeah.
Which you can pretty easily rely on, and you have things like Evolving Wilds if you are really desperate for fixing.
Attune with Ether.
Attune with Ether. Yeah, that's a good one. And I mean, like, if you want to go that far, you could probably maybe toss in a couple energy cards here and there. Some of the green ones.
Yeah, I mean,
if you want to get really crazy, I wouldn't recommend it personally.
Attune with Ether sees play in Standard in decks that have not a single bit of energy aside from that card, just because it's efficient enough mana filter.
Yeah,
so.
And I see a couple decks that run it, toss in the 1 mana dork that turns your energy into mana.
Oh yeah, that's
just
great.
Because you can double up with that and then just use that to expend basically the only mana you're taking, or you can go for the what's it called? The card that just turns your Aether into mana as a land into any color.
Aether Hub.
Yeah, Aether Hub. Which,
that's
the combo.
Because there's very little reason not to run Aether Hub in Standard unless you have no energy whatsoever, and even then, it's worth it just itself.
Yeah, it's at the very least you're getting 1 free mana of any color off the top, and then you'll be tapping it for colorless after that, because it's not entirely parasitic. It still generates 1 mana upon entry, which is, I mean, not 1 mana, 1 energy upon entry, which can be turned into any color of mana, and then after that you're just doing colorless. And I mean, it's not like we're hurting for lands that tap for any color now. We have things like Spire of Industry, which is basically just City of Brass, but usable if you don't want to spend the mana all the time.
Yeah. But we are completely off topic.
Yeah. Anyway. So,
Commander 2017. Really, Tribes. Also, I don't think we actually said it. There is only 4 decks instead of the usual 5, which is interesting because I have no idea why there's only 4.
I think each of them are going to have. Each of them are probably going to have only a color focus, and I'm not going to be surprised if it turns out this year that red is going to be the color that gets shafted. It's not really a very good color in Commander.
Yeah.
It's very focused on one-on-one games. You see some Commander Rushdown decks in red, but nothing really amazingly powerful or really out there. You don't see decks like Atraxa. You see it usually splashed as a tertiary or secondary color if it's lucky enough in decks that are usually 9 times out of 10 featuring green as the predominant or black.
Yeah. One of the relevant things that I thought would be interesting to bring up here would be I saw a thing going around on Tumblr earlier about possibly bringing back partner for these decks and there's a few different interesting things that could happen if they did that. Either have it, one, giving us more partner combinations, which is just awesome anyways, and also having commanders have stuff like you can have, say, a zombie deck where the whole deck is 3 color, but you have the whole deck is 3 color. The whole deck is 3 color in Grixis or Jund. Or in Jund, yeah. You get to have like a Rakdos zombie commander and a Golgari zombie commander.
Yeah.
And you get to have an interesting where, especially for zombies, where zombies have no shortage of lords.
Yeah.
For commander, no shortage. But do things where, after seeing this idea, I think the person who first proposed it was having it that the partner commanders, between the two of them, they create the total deck's color identity, but they each support 2 different tribes, which is an interesting idea, but I don't think that's actually a smart idea, just because that will be very cluttered in a single commander deck.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I think partner could be done interestingly for some tribal decks. Like if there's one tribe that every time I look at it, it's like you could use support in a tribal focused commander set, or at least a commander that focuses on your tribe. It's definitely, I want to see worms. I want to see Naya worms. I don't care where they come from. I want to see like a big worm that can command my little worms to make them bigger. Maybe with Populate coming back.
Oh,
that could be interesting.
I'd like to see a Populate come back. I mean, we've seen Ravnica guild-specific keywords return outside of the guild.
Yeah.
And also vice versa with Replicate. It's possible, and Return to Ravnica was 5 years ago. About 5 years ago now. Like, we could totally get Populate back.
And I mean, it would be nice to see in the worm deck, even if it is only reprints, because, like, you look at the 2 worm decks we have the Selesnya worm deck that is very much like, go wide with your big creatures, and it's fun, and it's a big square of worm. And then you have the Gruul one, which focuses on creating a ton of tokens and then feeding them to your big worm, and then you just swing for game unless you get hit with basically any form of removal.
And then you fling it!
Yeah.
But, like...
Yeah.
I'd like a concise strategy for that tribe. Like, especially because we're getting worms back on Amonkhet. Like, we've got three worms?
Now's the time.
Actually good support.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
I know in the one tweet that we got about it from anyone from Wizards of the Coast, apparently we're getting one tribe that no one will expect.
The tweet was from Gavin Verhey. I'll just quote it. It's, I led the Magic the Gathering Commander 17 design. 4 tribal decks. I can't say much, but there's at least one tribe you won't expect. Which is good. I like that he said there's at least one. Because I'd love to see, 3 out there tribes and then Eldrazi or something. That would be really cool.
Ones people have been asking for.
Yeah.
I'd like to see slivers return because we haven't seen them in a while. I'd like...
Personally wouldn't really want slivers. I've never been a fan of slivers, but I'm more just... I'd rather have, like, an actual Eldrazi commander than have a sliver. Like, more slivers. Because we've got a lot of them.
I think there's room. Like, if it is the 2, 3, 4, 5 setup, we could definitely have, like, 4-color whiteless Eldrazi commander, 5-color sliver commander who makes use of all of the new concepts and abilities that we've gotten since the last time we saw slivers.
Yeah.
And even some of the ones that we saw beforehand. Maybe give slivers some abilities that we've only seen in one-offs in sets. Stuff like all slivers
Clash.
all slivers have Clash. That's what we need.
The Clash doesn't do anything. You just when a sliver enters the battlefield, you clash with your opponent.
When a sliver attacks.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you know what's fun? You know what I like doing when I play Commander?
Not
sitting around.
Yeah. But I definitely think like you could do interesting with slivers, and I think slivers could be interesting. I just personally think there are other tribes that could do it also more interesting.
Yeah. I'd like to see a proper wizard commander. I know most people are going to hear that and be like, oh, we have proper wizard commanders. No, we don't. Who's our, like, actual proper greenless wizard?
I'm going to check.
Where is it?
EDA track.
I mean, like, you could probably do it with some of the partner commanders. If they were absolutely gonna touch my heart, even if we didn't get partner commanders, and I like
the five first wizards under wizard commanders on EDA track is Azami, Niv Mizzet, Baral, Derevi, and Ertai.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, like
that none of them hit like the full gamut of what wizards could do.
Only one of them actually cares about wizards.
Yeah. And I think like Wizard Storm could be interesting.
Bring back wizard cycling.
Yeah, that's what we've been missing. Wizard cycling. Was that in that was in Future Sight, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Here. An interesting thing would be I don't know, having cycling come back for a tribe for this set, because that would be a really good idea.
Because we've seen... Actually, if anything, if they do that, I bet you we will definitely get slivers. Because you know what slivers have?
Cycling.
A card that gives all slivers sliver cycling. Every single one. Is that great or what?
Yeah.
Like you just... Oh, yeah, sure, I'll just cycle everything and search out all the slivers I need. Sliver Legion, Sliver Hive Lord, Sliver Queen, yada, 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 yada.
Yep.
And then you're just winning the game.
Yeah.
Because slivers need to get more powerful. Like any Tyrannid or Xenomorph army. They need to be more powerful. Although, honestly... I'm trying to think, because maybe they'll throw us through a complete loop. Like, what's a creature type that has absolutely no tribal synergies at all? We've seen, like, maybe on 10 or so cards, and then it's like, oh, cool. Well, here's
Squirrels.
A deck. Squirrels. What would a squirrel commander look like? What color would we give squirrels?
Wizards dupes everybody out because it's not Commander 2017. It's just Unset 3. Goofy tribal things.
Unset commander. That's what we need. That's what we're...
Squirrels! Homerids! Because homerids...
I think there could be interesting things done with homerids. Like, what colors are homerids in? Are they just mono blue?
Mono blue.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Give them a second color. They could be Simic. Oh. We haven't really had, like, a whole ton of Simic mysticism stuff outside of Theros. That could be interesting flavor for homerids.
Yep.
Though, also, personally, I think they taste like lobster. Not necessarily mysticism.
Yeah. But that would be interesting. Or just Teamer would be interesting.
Teamer-
Hoverid Wizard!
That's what we need. I mean,
Yeah.
like a lot of the times when I think Fallen Empires, my mind immediately goes Thalids, and then I remember we have a Fungus Commander.
Yeah.
We're fine. We have a couple of them now.
I have such a soft spot for Fallen Empires. It's not even like I was at all close to being playing at the time. Like,
Yeah.
that was way before I was even born. But
No, it wasn't.
It's just...
Was it?
Yeah, it was...
Oh, yeah,
it was
no, it would've been-
94, Nolan.
Oh, yeah, that was...
It was like
Whoa,
the...
yeah, that was a while ago.
Sixth set in Magic, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. But I love the set.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's not like we haven't seen Fallen Empires tribes return before. Thrall's got new life on Ravnica as the servants of the Ortsov, but still, we see fungi every so often. They appear in the commander sets a lot.
It was the first appearance of dwarves.
It was the
Aside
first
from
appearance.
one card in the dark.
Yeah. And I mean, they got merfolk, but Thalids. And I mean, like, what's
Sadly,
the big...
no, Nolan, I found it, and I know you're gonna love this. The
Tell me.
tribe we need a tribal commander deck for is Orgs. Org!
Orgs. I heard
Remember?
orcs, and I was like,
Org!
we have an orc commander, Oscar.
Yeah.
Came out in cons.
Yeah.
We also have
But-
plethora of mono red goblin commanders, which is what orcs used to be.
Yeah, but also Orgs!
An orc could be interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I would like to see, because we don't really have a proper commander for it, is Mardu vampires. Because we
Yeah.
have, like, Rakdos vampires, we have Ortsov vampires, but we don't really have the Mardu vampires. We don't have
Yeah.
something that connects them.
Yeah.
I mean, alternatively, they could pull, like, something crazy. We could see something like what we saw back on Shadowmoor, where we just miraculously got this 5-color Scarecrow commander, who I'd love to see return to the game, and I've still been trying to build that deck.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. Like, here's a Crocodile commander. Crocodiles are a 3-color creature type now.
Yeah.
That would be weird, but that would be cool. I'm looking at cards and I'm like, what could we commander now?
Yeah.
We could do Kavu. Give Kavu a new color.
I
Make
love
a commander.
Kavu.
Yeah. I don't even know what that would look like.
I mean, Kavu. I think Kavu appeared in all five in everything but black, because the whole thing in Evasion was the Kavu were invincible against the Phyrexian, like the Phyresis. So they were the only thing that could defeat Phyrexians, and they never. That was back when the color pie was weird. The Phyrexians only exist in black, and the Kavu exist in everything but black. So
and then speaking of the Phyresis, we could give things like Horrors a commander, or Nightmares, or alternatively, if we've only ever gotten one card for this tribe, as far as I'm aware, there's Eyes. Hear me out.
Wait.
We have the Evil Eye of Urborg. Non-eye creatures you control cannot attack. Whenever the Evil Eye of Urborg becomes blocked by a creature, destroy that creature. Now all we need is a commander for it. We'll give them a new color. We'll make him Dimir or something. It'll be fun.
Wait. I think there's more than one.
Is there more than
I need
one?
to check the creature type on Unblinking Bleb. The best card.
I don't believe...
I don't know if you saw this meme when... on the day when they announced Damnation reprint, I forget who it was. I think it was Sarkon Volkswagen. I don't know. Somebody posted now that Damnation reprint's gone, like the Damnation reprint meme is gone. What do we replace it with? And someone just suggested, they just replied with a picture of Unblinking Bleb, And it became a meme for like a day, and it was hilarious.
That could be cool. What other colors could use like a proper commander? We could do a sort of Control-y Spirits thing with focus on Innistrad and
and Blinking Bleb's an illusion, sadly.
We could do illusions. Give illusions a new color. Make them Azorius or something.
Yeah.
Predominantly blue. We have enough illusions. I don't think we have an illusion lord. I'm not entirely sure how you'd make that deck work though, since a lot of them
exile when they're targeted by a spell.
Yeah. So I mean, like if you want to lose, play illusions. It's got lose almost in the name.
Yeah.
What else do we have that we could make into a tribal deck? We could do
Chromat's an illusion.
Chromat is an illusion.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's real either.
Aside from Chromat, its illusions are exclusively mono blue except for I think 3 or 4 cards.
That makes sense.
That all of those cards are in black.
I'm just trying to think. We don't have a Vidalcan commander, do we?
No, we don't.
Not a proper one, at least. We could probably use a Vidalcan commander, or we could do potentially Sultai, Leviathans.
Oh, yeah.
We've gotten Leviathans in all those colors, but no real, like, Leviathan King. Like, we've gotten a Leviathan commander. He was in the Grixis deck, if I remember correctly, but he wasn't really... Didn't really stack up, you know? He's not one of those commanders that really covers everything. Like, the current worm legendary creature we have is basically just for Gruul Devour. It's not really something that supports the coloration well enough. It doesn't support the design enough.
Yeah.
I know it's not tribal, but I would kill for Wizards to just go absolutely insane and give us a 5-color Super Friends deck in Commander. Everyone will buy it. It'll have only the worst commanders. It'll have like a 5-color Planeswalker commander. It'll be crazy. No one will like it. It'll have like Chandras, but not any of the good Chandras. And Liliana, who likes swamps.
There is not a legendary Leviathan, actually.
There's not a legendary Leviathan.
No.
Weird. How many colors are Sphinxes in? Can we get Esper Sphinxes? Planeswalker commander, maybe?
I know Sphinxes are only an Esper. They have to only be an Esper.
Yeah. I don't think they've ever... Oh, wait, no, they have done ventures into red. I don't believe they have into green, though.
No, I don't think.
Because there's Arjun in the Izzet Commander deck back in 2015, 2014. We could do Gruul Shamans.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be
Are
great.
there Shamans in black? Maybe that's Jund.
There are Shamans in black.
I would laugh my ass off if we got a crazy wall tribal deck.
Yes,
that is
I want walls so bad.
Aggro. An aggro wall tribal deck.
I played an aggro wall deck that was like modern. Like it was when I was first getting into modern, and it was a stupid combo with Overgrown Battlement and Axebane Guardian, where you just get all the cheapest wall creatures and tap them to get Emrakul. Well, it was tap them to get to actually cast Coax from the Blind Eternities to get whichever of the Titans I wanted.
Yeah, and then you just win.
Yeah. But that deck actually started out with Assault Formation. Every single super high toughness versus power, and essentially build Doran in Modern.
Yeah.
That's just, I'm gonna swing with a 7/7 for 2 mana.
Seems almost silly.
Yeah. Also, Sphinxes have not appeared in green, and with including Argent, they appear in everything but green. Without Argent, they are just Esper.
That makes sense. So we could probably toss the red because Arjun's like just kind of a sphinx because sphinxes look cool, not so much
Yeah.
a
Oh.
proper sphinx.
Actually, now that I'm reminded Arjun exists, they're from Amonkhet, right?
I don't know. Actually,
like, they don't
I
actually
need
look
to look at that card again.
exactly like, they don't look exactly like the other sphinxes on Amonkhet, but they don't look
I don't know. I think
weird.
I think the main thing with Arjun is like,
its flavor text is, one sec. He speaks directly into the supplicants' minds, using fiery words that inflame their thoughts and incite their passions.
yeah.
That doesn't give me any bigger clue.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. Honestly, the plane that Arjun looks like he's on seems to be Theros, just based on the pillars and things like that.
Yeah,
but there's really no way of telling. As far as we know, his home plane hasn't been identified at all.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the best bet. Like,
I would. You know what I'd really like to see?
What?
I'd love to see a weird 5-color tribal deck entirely focused on the living weapon concept and expanding that.
That'd be great.
Just with like a ton of germs, get them all out.
Skull.
Maybe have cards that are like, this wants to be equipped with cards that have living weapon on it, and then just make like a crazy Voltron tribal deck.
Inverted, you cast the creature, like the germ, and you get the weapon.
Yeah, that could be cool. And then you have like this big 5-color germ. I don't know, we'll call it.
Actually, the germs are black color identity.
Predominantly, yeah.
But you could have a colorless commander deck.
You could with them because...
And you just only run living weapon. Like, you don't have any creatures in the deck except for the commander. And it's just... Or you can have an artifact card that is like the Planeswalker cards that just says, you can run this as your commander. And it is a living weapon and it creates a germ when it enters.
What I desperately want out of any tribal setting, or really any commander set, is I'd really like to see flip cards return.
Yeah, same.
I think we could do something with flip, like flip commanders predominantly. Flips in deck can be a little problematic since these packs don't come with sleeves. Although they could.
Yeah.
I know Pokemon does that sometimes, not with like their decks predominantly, usually with things like
fat packs,
tins and fat packs,
How do you feel about doing the God damn it, I can't remember the name of that plane again. Kamigawa flip cards.
Kamigawa, I'm not sure I'd want to see in those style, but I think if we had any cards from Kamigawa like that, I wouldn't mind seeing them done in the style of Innistrad flip cards that are designed to like that they're double faced, so you don't have to worry about having cards that have effects that are too long or art that isn't in the awkward design that they loved so much. I would love actually to see more Kamigawa stuff in commander sets. I wouldn't mind seeing a sort of maybe Naya, maybe Boros, Fox tribe.
Yeah,
in
be interesting.
Next set. I wouldn't mind seeing Simic snakes or maybe even Sultai snakes if you want to get really weird and toss Vampiric Tutors into the deck.
Yeah. So we're getting to about an hour, so we should probably wrap up.
We should probably wrap up.
Yeah. we've been rambling a bunch.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's fine.
yeah, there was one last thing I wanted to say, just with the idea of having partner commanders.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I saw a lot when Eldritch Moon came out was people were really not happy with Ulrich because he's not a lord.
Yeah.
Like he's not
werewolves.
a typical lord. And
Yeah.
I really loved him for that fact because
Yeah.
werewolves have a few lords.
They have a fair number of lords.
Yeah,
to be
but
fair.
I don't think the leader of the group would be a lord. Like,
especially
really
looking at how the Krellin horde functions.
Yeah, like I would really feel that he goes and socks the enemy in the face and just kind of goes, "Come on, guys."
Yeah.
Like that's why I think his card flavorfully worked amazingly cuz like one of the things is tribal's cool, but a lot of the time tribal boils down to these decks, these multiple different tribal decks based on different tribes are basically the same because it's just I play a bunch of creatures and they get really big because of the lords.
Which I mean, like, especially since you see cards like Ulrich who, well, maybe they're not what you're looking for because they don't lord. They still do what your deck wants to do, and they do it by supporting all of your creatures.
Yeah.
Like every time he flips, he either buffs or punches something out, and it works.
Yeah.
Same thing goes if you summon him.
What I was going towards was
doing
partner commanders where one of them for the tribe lords the group, and the other one works in the fashion to Ulrich or even like Brimaz, where he's a cat and he makes more cats, but he doesn't actually lord or anything. He just does his own fun stuff. Like
or like things to go back to Amonkhet, that 1/2 drop that drains every time you cast a zombie.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like
a really simple, concise lord that's not anything crazy, that costs pretty decently, like an average good price, and then another commander that's like, I do real fun stuff in the flavor of that tribe. Like, the zombie one could be like, has an activated ability for a fair bit of mana that's mill 5 and then return all
zombies.
Then you may pay one generic for each zombie and return it. Or something like that. Like,
or like you can mill 5, you may cast zombies for from your graveyard without paying their mana cost or something. Or you can cast one from your graveyard or 2.
Yeah. Like, I don't know about balancing them or anything, but or like for elves where it's like I reveal the top 5 and I put all creatures with converted mana cost 1 or less or 2 or less onto the battlefield, but they enter tapped or something like that, where you just like slam out a bunch of elves but they don't tap right away or anything. Like something like that, which I feel that would be a really interesting, flavorful thing. Also, cause the article announcing this set specifically states that they're releasing 4 decks instead of the normal 5. Since this year's theme isn't based on the color wheel, but some of Magic's most popular and interesting tribes, it really stresses that the decks really won't be all equal, where like one could be a 5 color and one could be a 2 color with 2 partner commanders, and the 5 color one could be like this is a 5 color deck with all weird sliver stuff, and then the 4 color one could be like, this is 2 tribes put together, and then the 3 color one could be like a typical tribal commander deck. And I think that's a really interesting way to take a commander set.
I do hope that they use this opportunity, since they seem to be experimenting with new things, to actually like return and give us some things that maybe didn't work in traditional sets, or even did work in the sets they were printed in, and then have them return for Commander. Things like a lot of the conspiracy keywords, like monarchy. Even I love the monarchy function.
Yeah,
in
or the Will of the Council or Council's Dilemma, because like I love those, and I love Canadian Highlander, and a few of those cards got really good in that format, and I love when interesting new mechanics happen to do interesting things.
And even things like Melee or Goad could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Especially for politics-oriented decks, which I think could really, really work if they do something interesting like Esper Sphinxes as a tribe deck. Or maybe if they do an artifact-focused deck focused on constructs and stuff like that, we could do some of the from the old Fioran constructs. Some of the pre-Muzio stuff. I think we have a lot of options for this set. I can't wait for spoiler season.
Oh yeah,
spoiler season for this set's gonna be excellent
too. Like it's gonna be just after Hour of Devastation's done. Because if it's coming out in August, like Hour is coming out middle of July. Like it'll be end of just after that comes out.
I wouldn't be surprised if we dove right into that as soon as Hour of Devastation drops.
Yeah.
And we just immediately start getting Commander set after Commander set, and people get excited for that. And then that's the thing that we bring into after once people are kind of waning on the idea of Hour of Devastation drafting, and maybe they want to be playing a fun format that's kind of a little more laid back. It's not as hard as it doesn't require as much thinking as something like drafting does.
Yeah, like that was. I definitely hope Wizards makes it a little more chill in the summer. Like, it gets a lot busy. It gets very busy with, especially last summer was overwhelming with how many things were being released. So, but I think that's a good stopping point. So, thanks everyone for listening. If people listened, but
for those of you who might have listened, feel free to leave comments and responses. We want to know your feedback so we can continue to improve the podcast as it goes forward.
Yeah. For the future, we want to do an Amonkhet, just kind of our thoughts on the whole set and everything. So
I think that should be our.
Do that soon.
Yeah, that should be our next episode.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll record that after the pre-release.
Yeah, that would be a really good idea.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. So see you guys next time, and
have a pleasant day.
Message me on Tumblr at MTGelks if you want to talk about the podcast or anything. So or give comments. So thanks for listening and have a good day.